grand scheme of things, Mario Kart 8 wasn't really like that great to me. But that being said, we're live with another episode of BS Busters. Let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady first, then the gentleman, and then myself, and then we'll dive into these topics.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the first BS Busters of 2022 for Saturday, that is. I'm Joe Riley Moonstar, and please, for the love of stars, Activision Blizzard, can you at least give us a week without you?
Yeah, I wish, but they just, Activision Blizzard is like that kid in class that, like, every time there was, like, you knew if you did better than them on a test, you were doing fine. They were the chronic F up in class. That's Activision Blizzard. Kenoshi, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Kenoshi Abominita saying there is no breaks for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, they're like that song from Bigotiga, Can't Stop, Won't Stop. They can't stop, won't stop. But that being said, Mr. Red Fox here, owner proprietor BS Busters. Let's get into these topics. So, as the title placard says, we have cartoon characters that we hate, beloved games that didn't wow you. Wow is in quotation marks. More Activision Blizzard BS, plus more. We have some really good topics. But I guess we can do a fun topic first, which is cartoon characters that you hate. So, who has a cartoon character that some people really love that you were like, I hate this character so very much?
This is probably gonna bite some people at me, but I'm gonna get it anyways. Steven effing Universe, to a degree.
I can understand that. I never saw what the big deal was about Steven Universe, to be honest with you.
Yeah, thing is that I pair him up with something like what was it? Oh yeah, Adventure Time, and feel like it's kind of a flat note that gets complicated in a bad way.
Yeah. To me, I can agree with that assessment. To me, Steven Universe is like a less successful Adventure Time.
Yeah, as I said, it does get complicated, but in the wrong direction for me when I look into the story of it.
Well, I mean, Adventure, like, okay, let me put it this way, okay. Adventure Time did a lot of really cool stuff, like a lot of some really good, like representation. Well, no, like representation and having different type of characters, telling like Adventure Time in terms of how it told its story and the issues that it tackled. It dealt with a lot of like really serious stuff for a cartoon, like kind of like how cartoons did when we were kids, like in the 90s. And but it wasn't like beating you over the head with it. Whereas like Steve forgot the name
I said Steven Universe.
Yeah, Steven Universe just like it's like like this just, I mean, like I watched a few episodes of it and I'm like, this just looks stupid. Like people are like, it's so deep. I'm like, I'm not getting it. I mean, it could be because I never saw it from the beginning. I always watched episodes where they were like kind of far, like in the middle of the season. But
believe it or not, I went between seasons to try to catch up with it, and it really sunk downhill when it hit seasons 4 and 5.
Yeah, that for me that was just where I was like, okay, I can't. I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and I even hesitated to try to even watch the final episodes.
Yeah, I know a lot of people really like it, but it just didn't really do anything for me. Kenoshi, you have a cartoon character that you just like, I don't like this character. I want them to
Uh,
lose every time, all the time.
Adventure Time. I just never. I couldn't get it. I
Really?
didn't get it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
strange. Okay.
Yeah. I tried. I remember watching a few episodes of Adventure Time. It's like it's okay, I guess. I don't know. I don't get it.
All right.
Just one of those things. Then reach me like it did other people.
Okay, cool.
Huh.
Cool. To each his own. I'm gonna go old school. This is a cartoon character that I hate. Like every time I've seen him in cartoons, I want him to die or just lose. Droopy. Droopy
Droopy?
Oh,
Dog. I hate Droopy.
Wait, you mean the Tex Avery Droopy?
Yeah, that
Oh.
Droopy. You know what? You make me mad. I hate Droopy. I hate Droopy so
He-
much.
He's so
Um,
monotone.
I
He's
hate.
so flat.
No,
And
no,
yet
that's not why I hate
bugging.
Droopy. I hate Droopy because I just want him to lose. Like I hate characters who by all rights should get an L sometimes. Um like Droopy doesn't get his L. I hate Tweety Bird. Like I want Sylvester to eat him. I hate Jerry Mouse.
Jerry.
I
Yeah.
want Tom to eat his ass. Uh, I hate the Roadrunner.
You hate those characters that always somehow get out of the messes at the end.
I hate Speedy
Right.
Gonzalez.
Let's
Basically,
see.
I hate characters who never get their comeuppance. And I know what some people are saying, but I mean, why didn't you add Bugs Bunny? Because every once in a while, Bugs Bunny gets his comeuppance, and it's sweet when it happens. You do not get that from any of
I was
those
going to
characters.
say, it's rare to see Bugs Bunny take a surprise L.
Yeah, but when he does, it's great. Like I remember, there's this episode of Looney Tunes. There's this Looney Tunes short where Daffy Duck is being messed with by the animator, like on an animation desk, and it turns out the person holding the pencil animating it is Bugs Bunny. But then there's a follow up short later on where Daffy Duck gets his revenge. He starts fucking with Bugs Bunny. It's like, yeah, payback is a bitch. So I like for characters, and there's been times where Bugs Bunny has basically outsmarted himself, which is just
I have
great.
to imagine that is rarer, but I actually will agree with you. I have to really like characters that sometimes are so smart they actually surprise themselves into situations they don't know what to do with.
Now, ironically, my favorite cartoon character is actually Daffy Duck in terms of
I have
Warner
to look at
Brothers.
you on that.
Yeah, I like Daffy Duck.
You're weirder than I thought.
Not really. I mean, everyone has their favorites. Some people like the reason I like Daffy Duck is because Daffy Duck, like Bugs Bunny is unrealistic, and because basically everything he does he's almost charmed at succeeding in what he does. Daffy Duck is the real human condition. He's greedy. He's a coward. He messes up all the time, but he keeps on trying. I mean, he keeps on trying.
Funny.
That's
He's
usually
actually
his
a funny.
fault.
Think about it. He's actually a funnier character than Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, he is, because Daffy Duck has realistic reactions to things. Like, they'll have they had Daffy Duck and Robin Hood. And he basically, he comes to the realization he sucks as Robin Hood. So he switches with his Friar Tuck, and he makes Friar Tuck Robin Hood, and he becomes Friar Duck. He's like, you know what? I stink at doing this, so someone else who's better at it should be able to do it. And it's like, you know what? That's actually competent and smart. Whereas Bugs Bunny, almost everything he does, he succeeds at. It's ridiculous. and it's almost sickening how much he
I was gonna, I was gonna
excels
say,
at everything.
it feels like he's 007 in a bunny suit.
Basically, except
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny's also a cross-dresser.
Yeah, if anything, you gotta admit, you gotta have some balls in order to be able to cross dress and get away with it when the stupidity happens.
Well, I mean, like the thing is that Bugs Bunny, like when I was a kid, they'd have Bugs Bunny, like Bugs Bunny would cross dress, and it's like, actually, I mean, like, I could actually see where he could trick the people because he actually was a presentable and passable cross dresser, which worked for him. Mr. Roboto 66 has a comment. He says, "I love both Bugs and Daffy." Yeah, the cartoons where they have Bugs and Daffy playing a comedy duo like Bob Hope
Yeah,
and
those two
Bing
work
Crosby.
together.
Oh
Those
yeah,
guys work together like peanut butter and jelly.
yeah.
That was cool.
Or Rabbit
That's
season, Duck season, Rabbit season, Duck season, Elmer season. Tally ho! Like that is one of the best Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck
Moments that you
moments.
always have.
Well, because like Warner Brothers always had better comedic timing than Disney shorts. Mr. Roboto 66 says Yugi in Yu-Gi-Oh succeeds at everything he does too. He's also one of my favorite characters. I mean, like, do you mean like Yami Yugi? Because Yami Yugi succeeds in everything he does. Normal Yugi's like, I'm along for the ride.
Actually, Redhead, I'm going to correct you on this, and please take this seriously. Yami Yugi does lose, though it's a rarity, and if anything, he did lose to Little Yugi, which is kind of the best L to take in a sense, because if you basically lose to yourself, you basically won to yourself too.
Or it was a tie. but yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't like. For me, I like when heroes take that L because basically when they come back, they have something to come back from. Like it's not cool to have a character who always is succeeding at everything. It's unrealistic and it's just boring basically.
I put a caveat on that because I like somebody that can lose, but somehow is not forced to lose.
Okay, let me put it this way. Okay, imagine if you had Superman, and he had no one ever had kryptonite. He never had a Lex Luthor. Everything he did was just, oh yeah, he succeeded.
I said forced lose. And if anything, you probably know this from RPGs yourself.
Oh, you mean unwinnable fights?
Yeah, or fights that you're forced to lose, no matter what.
Scripted losses, yeah, scripted losses. Scripted losses. I don't mean scripted losses. I mean a character who is unstoppable and has no weaknesses and never loses. That's not a fun character. That's not a very well developed character because then they basically a good character has struggle because them overcoming that struggle is what makes it interesting and adds drama and progression and stuff like that.
That's the kind of character I could agree with you on. It's just that if a character is forced to lose because of an outside force, that kind of bites the detail.
Oh, you mean like Naruto, where they made the villain so powerful that they had to basically MacGuffin in a betrayal so that they could keep it moving to the real villain in Naruto Shippuden?
I was going to say yes, and another example would be the fight with Seto Kaiba versus Yugi at Battle Castle. At Battle.
Oh, you mean where he just used his
Kingdom, where he actually threatened to kill himself if he got attacked.
Yeah, okay.
The end game of Shippuden still pisses me off. But
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not
man.
well executed because the writer had written himself into a corner, and he had to
Yeah.
basically wrap things up instead of actually, because because Naruto is a quintessential shonen show, and they have to solve everything with the power of friendship,
Yeah.
which is
Or-
just
Or probably use the power of the Saiyans.
No, Naruto is the power of friendship. Super's Dragon Ball Z is Goku is unstoppable. That's Dragon Ball Z. Goku is unstoppable, and even if he is stopped, he eventually will overcome that stoppage. that is the rule of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's the problem with Dragon Ball Z. I just gotta become more powerful.
Yeah.
I just gotta outmuscle my enemy.
Well, I mean, the problem with Dragon Ball Z is just it doesn't follow a logical progression. Like the logical progression of Dragon Ball Z would have been, okay, Dragon Ball is Goku's story. Dragon Ball Z would have been Goku's story until he dies, and then it's Gohan's story. That's what would have made Dragon Ball Z awesome. And like seeing,
Yeah.
okay, we have a new protagonist. How are they gonna what would it be like for you to be the son of one of the greatest heroes of all time, and for you to have to step out of that person's shadow and become your own man? That would have been a much more interesting story than what we've been getting.
Yeah, especially when it leads into something like Super. Oh God.
Yeah.
Super.
Super was I will admit, Super has some great fights. The power escalation has never been better, but it just the writing is like, even by Dragon Ball standards, the writing is terrible.
I mean,
Like,
I really like the idea of autonomous Ultra Instinct because it's not something that just belongs to Saiyans. But they're not going to utilize it because these are bad writers.
yeah, the writing is terrible. The writing, the writing in Super is worse than we have ever seen before in the Dragon Ball franchise. And here's the thing: Dragon Ball has always had weak writing. Like, this isn't like, oh, one day we just woke up and had bad writing.
To be honest with you, I make the joke that it makes Pokemon's writing look like a masterpiece.
Mr. Roboto66 says, I don't agree with that. I prefer
I wouldn't
Goku
say
to
that.
Vegeta. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you told me to choose between Goku and Vegeta, I would say I like Goku more, because at least Goku isn't the sole cause of some of the worst things ever to happen in the Dragon Ball Z universe.
Vegeta, on the other hand,
Vegeta, Raditz,
his
okay.
ego is big.
Like, the beginning of the Saiyan saga, okay, like, they didn't have any control over Raditz landing on Earth. But Frieza, Nappa just like killing tons of innocent people on Earth. Planet Namek, all those poor Nameks getting killed. Majin Buu being Cell reaching his perfect form, and killing even more people. Majin Buu killing people. Like, Vegeta is the sole cause of so much pain and suffering in Dragon Ball Z, and Goku just would not kill him. He's like, I like him because he's strong. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Naruto has the same issue. Like Naruto's like, okay, I want to be the Hokage. Okay, fair. He becomes the Hokage. He keeps a fucker around who actively tried to kill a lot of people in the village of the Hidden Leaf, Sasuke. That does not jive. I'm sorry.
That's a different level of ignorance.
You cannot be the leader of a major ninja village, but also let someone live who actively tried to destroy that village. It's ass backwards. But, Dragon Ball Z here. I mean, Naruto. But let's keep it moving. Any other cartoon characters you guys hate? Like, someone's like, I love this cartoon. You're like, I hate that character. I wish they would die, as a matter of fact. Probably.
Well, considering I went with mostly heroes, well, I go with one villain, and this is from One Piece. That beeping clown.
Buggy?
Yeah, I mean seriously, he needs to be dunked into a barrel of water, of
Are you
salt
talking
water.
about the talking car?
No, no. In One Piece, like one of the first kind of serious villains that 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 Luffy fought was Buggy the clown.
Yeah,
Like that, he's just it was kind of weird to be honest with you, because he used to be a member of Shank's crew, but he's like he lost. I mean, I don't really hate Buggy because they haven't really like aside from him being like aside from a few flashbacks where you found out he used to be a member of Shank's crew, you don't really discover much about him after he got beaten by Luffy. So Mr. Roboto says, I
100.
like their relationship. It reminds me of Professor X and Magneto. Yeah, but it isn't, though, because Professor X and Magneto want the same thing. It's just Magneto is more militant in getting it. Like, Vegeta is literally, like the source of so much bad shit happening in the Dragon Ball universe. And Goku just
yeah.
won't kill him.
250,000 episodes of One Piece, and they didn't establish Buggy as a character very well, huh?
Well, no, because they're trying to juggle so many other characters that it's not fair to bring it back to an obscure character who was in like the first season or the second season.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I mean, and plus Buggy isn't really memorable. He's not a memorable character. Now,
Here's
no, go ahead.
here's a clown that could
Blew himself
that
into
could send his
pieces.
that can send his various body parts different places.
I mean, I guess that's cool. I'll be honest with you though. One Piece has had some really cool fights. Like really cool anime fights. I have to admit, one of the best like fights I've seen in anime in a long time was the fight between Luffy and Crocodile.
Yeah.
That was a cool fight. Because you knew what the stakes were. You knew that Luffy was not at 100%. He was poisoned. He was in bad shape. But through sheer willpower, he kept on fighting. Ultimate culminating with him beating the ever-loving shit out of Crocodile. It's actually kind of cool. And it was like, man, that's pretty cool. I like that. Like One Piece has consistently had really good fights, which I will give it credit because even Naruto started falling apart on the fights after a while.
Yeah, it started becoming
Popular.
it started becoming too much of a spectacle, more so because I like the earlier stuff where it's just kind of like things were more planned and thought out. They weren't these overpowered, beings. And it just
Yeah.
kind of got ridiculous there at the end.
Well, like I said, the big issue with Naruto is just the writer had basically escalated the power level of the villain to the point where he had to MacGuffin his way out of it. And then the power of friendship will solve everything. Man, I hate that power of friendship bullshit. Anyway. That being said, yeah, I said it. I don't like the power of friendship in
Anime or
anime.
animation.
No, just anime. I don't like. We can get through this with the power of friendship. Like literally, someone could do a heel turn and murder someone's family, and they're like, well, it was the power of friendship. It's like, dude, you killed my family. It was the power of friendship, man. Fuck friendship. You killed my family.
I'd make the joke that would you call a destiny draw with the power of friendship being a BS turn.
I mean, I won't go that far because that's a little too nerdy for even for me. But it's just like friendship doesn't trump like something that like there's some things you can't take back is what I'm saying. Like there's
Of
some
course.
things that it's like you can't explain this away, you can't take it back. And, like the power of friendship isn't gonna, you know, but that's either here nor there. Let's move on to the next topic. The next topic is games that did not wow you. Like beloved games, like people like these games, but you were like, I don't get it. Who wants to go first?
Monster Hunter Rise.
I get that.
Yeah.
And this is from somebody that likes Monster Hunter stories, but not Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, but Monster Hunter Stories is more of a
It's more of a turn-based RPG than what Monster Hunter Rise is, which I feel like it's more of an MMO.
yeah, Monster Hunter these days is more of an MMO, but that's just the way it is. Kenoshi?
The Last of Us franchise. I always thought the problem with The Last of Us is that, especially the second game. The second game is really, really bothering from what I've seen and heard of it. But, it's just a duck and cover shooter, and people act like this is such a well crafted piece of work. I think somebody even went as far to say that this is the Citizen Kane of video games.
Oh, come on, man.
What are you
I'm like, come on, man. No.
It's a duck and cover shooter with, poorly implemented horror design, horror mechanics.
I would say that I would say that in regards to that, I would say the entire I would say that the entire series is like that though.
Oh yeah, I mean, here's my problem with the second series because it was a false. They falsely advertised. They falsely advertised it. Um, they acted like, oh, you're gonna regret, killing these people because they had these people like call out the names of people that you shot, but they didn't add any mechanics that really add any depth to that. Like they didn't. The game doesn't punish you. You don't have like an insanity meter where the game punishes you for killing too many people. You don't have the option to just completely go through a section without killing anybody. So what was the big point of that whole advertisement? Like, oh, you're gonna really feel the struggle of killing these people, making the hard choice to murder these people as you go on your journeys. Like,
I agree.
did you forget about the video game part of it?
Huh. Funny enough, I could agree with you on with that being a part of another game that I feel like I don't get it because it really feels like you're trying to subvert the expectations and are doing it so much that it's blatantly killing storytelling. Undertale.
All right, I get it. Like Undertale is one of those games that you either love it or you hate it. Like I've never seen anyone who is like it's okay. Like they either love it or they don't like it. Like I don't see people who are like in the middle.
I'm more annoyed and hating it at the same time.
I mean, I can
It's
see
the
why
fan
people
base,
don't
isn't it?
like it, but I can also see why people do like it. It's one of those things where I'm like, I can see both sides I can see both sides of the bet on that one.
It's a wacky RPG like the Mother games.
I mean, yeah, it's like an indie low budget version of the Mother games. That's basically what Undertale plays like. Like it's like I want to do something like Mother, but I don't have the money, so I'll do the best I can with what I got.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not against it. I can see where people don't like it, and I can see where people who like it like it. Yeah. There's some games people say I love this game, and I'm like I don't get it. Like I don't get why people love like I'm not understanding how people love Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Definitely don't understand how people could actually tolerate it.
Like, people are like,
Yeah.
this is
I've
great. I'm
heard-
like, I'm not getting it.
I've heard people that are big Final Fantasy VII fans that are like, "What the fuck did they do to this game?"
Yeah, that's basically how I feel about it. I'm like, I'm not getting it. Like, I don't see how this is a great game. I've played a lot of games, but I don't see how this is a great game.
Yeah. I tried playing it because it was free on PlayStation Plus. I'm just kind of like, I don't like this game. It doesn't have a lane. It drifts in different lanes mechanically, like a drunk driver that can't figure out which lane they want to stay in.
Yeah. The development of that game was like, eh. I was on a no. Go ahead.
I just wish it was either a turn-based RPG. Um, if they wanted to make it like Tales, they could have just did that if they wanted to combine turn-based with action orientation. But the problem is, it's like, well, it's either action or turn-based, and if you want, it's just I don't like the way it's set up.
And it doesn't
It's
do
like
either very well.
Yeah, if you were gonna go with that whole action slash turn-based, why didn't you just copy the Tales games? Because that's what they kind of pretty much do. Whatever.
And that would have been the best way to do it because it would have made more sense. But you know, like I just said, that would have made more sense. I mean, I'll give you a game that I think is kind of overrated. Like people are like, I love this game and I'm not feeling it, and that is well, I already said one, which is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was on the PC gamer thing, and this guy was like getting angry at me because I didn't like Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I'm like, bruh, like, first of all, these are opinions. Okay, let's just get that out the way. These are opinions. You know, and opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one. But the dude was like getting like really upset because I'm like, I don't really like this game that much. I'm not enthralled. You know, I'm not enthralled with the game. I'm just not, like, I played it and I was like, yeah, like of the actual main quest of Final Fantasy VII, there's like 20 to 25% of that game in this game. They added a whole bunch of extra stuff to fill it up, but you still are missing a large portion of the game.
Yeah.
And you're charging people $70 for this.
And keep in mind, we don't know when the next part they're going to be making is going to come out.
Oh, we don't know. What we do know is that Square Enix is going to milk the ever-loving daylights out of what they put out so that they can keep on selling you bits and pieces of a game that when it first came out, the whole thing came out. And when you mention this, people get angry. They're like, oh, well, you know, I'm like, look, man, that doesn't bother you. It bothers me. Like, I'm bothered by someone selling me part of a game, like literally like a quarter of the original game. And yeah, they padded out what the quarter that's there with all this extra stuff that I didn't ask for and don't want.
Yep.
You know, that's what really bothers me. I'm like, I didn't ask for this. And you mention it, people get, oh, how dare you? I'm like, man, I didn't want all this extra. You know, it's like you ordered a burger and you're like, look, man, I just want a burger, some fries, and that's it. And they're like, no, no, you got to have all this extra shit. I don't want all this extra shit. I just wanted this one thing right here. Well, you're getting it whether you want it or not, and we're going to charge you extra for it. It's like, I didn't ask for that, though, bro. But anyway, any other games you guys are like, you know what? This, like, people love this game, but I'm not feeling it. Nothing? Okay, I guess I'll go. I have a Nintendo one, because,
I was honestly trying to think of one.
Mr. Roboto66 has some comments. He says Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Skyward Sword, the Sonic Adventure games, the Bayonetta games, the Persona games, the modern Tomb Raider games. I can understand why you wouldn't like Resident Evil 4, but I disagree that it's not that I disagree that it's overrated. Super Mario Galaxy
Same.
1 and 2, I don't like that one. It's very hard for me to understand where you're coming from, but that's your opinion. I disagree, but that's your opinion. Skyward Sword, I can get it. I agree. Skyward Sword is kind of overrated. The Sonic Adventure games, I agree, they're overrated. The Bayonetta games, I can see why people wouldn't like that and think it's overrated.
Yeah.
The Persona games, I could see why people would think they're overrated. I'm with you with modern Tomb Raider games. I don't think they're very good.
I enjoy the modern Tomb Raider games, but I perfectly understand why people would hate those games.
Oh,
You know,
now I got something. I just realized it. It would be FIFA and Madden. It would be the FIFA and Madden games with how they always come out every year and every casual gamer buys them. I wonder how the heck they keep on doing this.
I can see where you're coming from, but do you feel that way because you don't like the business model or because the games are trash?
Take a number, buddy.
Because they're those are two divergent reasons to not like something. Because like here's the
I
thing.
said pick a number because both of those are equally a pain in the rear end.
Like here's the thing. On your first one that it comes out every year, like, and there's functionally no change. I agree with you, but I can't deny that Madden, in terms of being a football sim, is actually really well made for being a football sim. Like,
That barely changes at all.
Look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, like, here's the thing. Okay, I agree with you that EA doesn't do anything to change it and doesn't really update it and kind of is aggressive with the microtransactions, but like in terms of the core gameplay, Madden is really well made. I'm not gonna lie.
I will admit that it is made. It's just that do we need a new one of these every year?
Well, I mean, I think EA is contractually obligated to make one every year. I don't think it's a state. Even if they didn't want to make one, they are contractually obligated to make a new Madden every year. Even if they didn't want to. Same thing with 2K with their WWE games. Like, they have to come out with one every year. Either that or they pay out a huge lump sum of money to the World Wrestling Entertainment Corporation. I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying that, like, my personal dislike of certain games doesn't really. I try to temper my personal dislike with recognizing the technical merits of something. Like, for example, Mario Kart 8 is my Nintendo game. I think that is, like, a lot of people really love that game, but in hindsight, I think that it's not really all that good.
I could agree with you that it's not the best. It's just that if anything, I say it's not terrible either.
I let me put it this way: the graphics, Mario Kart 8 looks great. It's relatively smooth. I had less online troubles with it on my Wii U, and I've played the Switch version. I don't own the Switch version, but I played the Switch version. I've had less online troubles with Mario Kart 8 than almost any other Nintendo online game. But in terms of its core game design, I think Mario Kart 8 is, like, overrated. And I'll tell you what I mean. Cause I have played races in Mario Kart 8 on the highest level difficulty, where I have memorized the track's layout. I have the perfect setup for my vehicle. I'm on a track that I have mastered. I'm kicking everyone's ass online with a great connection, and I've been hit with 3 blue shells in a race. I still won, but I'm like, what the fuck, man? Shit like that is, like, I don't think that's good game design. I know why they did it, but I'm like,
that
no.
you got 3 blue shells from the people in the back row.
Yep. It's like that stuff like that makes me say, okay, this is not a well-designed game.
I was gonna say that if anything, that is Lady Luck bending you over and sending a paddle on your end.
And I mean, like, because I'm good in Mario Kart 8, and I have never had a race where
And
I was kicking everyone's ass and not been hit at least once or twice with a blue shell. And for that reason, I friggin' hate Mario Kart.
With me, I will say this: I only got hit with a blue shell at least once every 4 races, which is still a pain in the rear end.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Like the way I feel about it is, if I
the
race,
mechanics of the blue shell is easy enough to understand. That that the one that is the blue shell cannot win the race, so they're trying to make somebody in the front life miserable as F.
yeah. Well, the way I feel about it is just like if I'm racing perfectly and someone is just losing horrifically, they just lost. Get better. Like, don't go playing a spoiler role on someone who's kicking everyone's ass. Because most of the time, I'm the person who's kicking everyone's ass. I don't like that. But anyway, that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. Any other games where someone's like, this is overrated? People love it, but it's overrated, in my opinion. No? Okay, then. Time to move on to the next topic in our main topic lineup. Someone wrote something in here that says "your vor red," but I don't know what that means. More Activision Blizzard BS. So Activision Blizzard.
Oh no!
Yeah, the strike is still going on.
Is there anything new with this part of this reason of the show? Activision Blizzard time. Oh God.
Well, I mean, I can't really get, I'm not gonna get mad at people who.
I'm just groaning because here we go again.
Yeah, but it's Activision Blizzard. They're always messing up. So basically, the people at Raven Software, the testers are still striking, as is their right as workers who are basically being taken advantage of. I mean, that's their only real recourse. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Yay, nay?
You can already tell in my voice that you can already tell by my tone. I'm already groaning at they these guys just keep on doing stupid, and they keep on doing it to themselves.
Yeah, yeah, but it is Activision Blizzard. They love messing up. Um, Kanoshi?
Looks like another year of Activision Blizzard
Messing up.
yeah.
Yeah, they can't help them. Well, I mean, it's kind of like I said, I'm going to go back to the school analogy. You remember that kid in school that they were always effing up?
Yeah.
Like, they just couldn't help
Those
themselves.
those annoying rowdy routers in the back row that always loves to get attention, be a smart rear end, and love to be known as a failure. Those kind of kids.
Well, I don't know if they loved being known as a failure, but they were always effing up. Like, if there was a test, they would mess up. They were always talking in class and just being just always, if there was a way to F up, they would find a way to do it. Simple stuff like, okay, take this, pass it. Like the teacher would hand out sheets, take one, pass it down. They'd mess that up. Go sharpen your pencil. They couldn't just get up and go sharpen their pencil. They had to do some stupid shit while they were doing it. That type of thing. Okay? Well, that's
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard. They are consistently and without
Without question, failing at something.
they keep on messing up. No, they keep on messing up. They can't help themselves. It's part of their nature at this point. You know, they're like a habitual criminal that just keeps on going back to jail, you know.
Yeah. Makes me wonder when one of those days they're gonna find the bars are not gonna open for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll happen soon. Maybe people will stop maybe people will stop
Feeding them money.
we'll stop giving them money for their crappy ass games.
Huh.
And I know what
Interesting.
some people are going to say. Well, you know, not every Activision Blizzard game is crappy. A lot of them are, though. But with that
Yeah,
being said, I don't have a segue for this, but there's a rumor that Mario Kart 9 is being worked on. You guys looking
So-
forward to it?
I'm a mixed bag with this one. I'm hopeful that they do something new, or at least something that catches my eye. But I have the feeling that it's not going to change much. But hopefully, it'll at least be consistent.
All right, Kanoshi.
Mario Kart Double Dash 2, por favor.
Yeah, I'd like that, but they're probably not going to do that because look how much Mario Kart 8 sold, and Mario Kart 8 was very bare bones. It still is kind of bare bones. It has a dynamite multiplayer. They finally added battle mode with the re-release on the Switch. That should have been there in the base game. But aside from that, I mean, the single player is a joke on Mario Kart 8. I mean, it's basic as fuck.
Says the one that probably ran over 200 cc's.
Yeah, I did. And still, the single player is basic as fuck.
I was gonna say, for me, 200cc and 150cc to me, that's like the real challenge as far as single player goes. Because I, for the love of me, always have a time trying to have to do the brake and the gas at the same time. Well, and it's always a pain trying to not get rubber band.
I don't know. I like just having higher difficulty and mirror tracks. I don't really consider that to be like a really good single player experience. Now, of course, I'm used to the age when they had racing games in the 5th and 6th gen that had like great single player, like
Diddy
Snowboard
Kong
Kids.
Racing.
No, Snowboard Kids 2, Diddy Kong Racing,
I called it.
Crash Team Racing, stuff like that. Hell, even Extreme G2 had a better single player in my opinion. Because at least the tracks would change and shit while you were on it. I mean, I just think that the single player is too basic on the system on the base game. Multiplayer has always been where Mario Kart is at its strongest, so you know, I'm not really surprised that they focus a lot of their effort on that. So, I mean, more power to them, but I'm not looking forward to it. But that's my opinion. That being said, let's move on to some of these news stories.
These are probably fresh news stories.
Yeah, this just came out like yesterday and today. Westworld creator Jonathan Nolan to direct Fallout TV show at Amazon. Thoughts?
Fallout TV show.
Yeah.
I'm mixed feelings about that. You understand, right?
Is he gonna be busted and as buggy as the games are?
That would be funny. That would be hilarious if they had a part in the TV show where some guy goes into a house and there's someone just floating in the air. Just like, what the fuck? It's like the games.
That would actually be too rich.
That would be meta as hell.
Yeah, because of how buggy the recent Fallouts are. Oh god, that would be too rich.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't really like, considering how trash the Fallout games have been lately. I mean, like maybe putting the series into a better, more well written format might be better. Cause it just hasn't been that good. But that's just my opinion. Next topic. Unless you guys have something else you want to add about Fallout TV show.
To be honest with you, I'm just wondering how the heck are they gonna pull this Fallout?
I mean, it can't be any okay. Here's the thing. Okay, the guy who has been the head writer of Bethesda, of like the mainline Bethesda Fallout mainline Bethesda games, is a guy who's like Todd Howard's friend in the company. He's a shit writer. So at this point, if you get someone who makes their living writing good science fiction, writing a science fiction show, there's nowhere to go but up, really. I mean,
yeah.
So, I mean, it could be good. It could be good. Now, it depends on how this is being done and what they're using for inspiration. If they're being inspired by that bullshit made by Bethesda, they're kind of fucked. If they're looking at the classic Fallout made by Interplay and Black Isle Studio, then, it could work. But, that's just me. But, next topic. Speaking of movies and stuff like that. So, a former Warner Brothers executive who was fired after the debacle that was the Zack Snyder DC Cinematic Extended Universe is retroactively trying to cover his ass by saying that the reason that Zack Snyder's movies are so shit is because his personality, he's such a nice guy and so open to criticism that That's why.
When his movies suck.
That's why his movies suck. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's like, you know what that's like? That's like saying, hey, the reason that guy is really bad at satisfying his girlfriend in bed is that he listens to directions way too much and follows them exactly.
Yeah,
That is an
that's the thing.
oxymoron and does not make sense.
Yeah.
Also, the end evidence would belie that supposition, that statement, because I remember when Man of Steel came out and it did okay at the box office. Like I think it made 800 million, 700 million. Like barely cracked $1 billion, but after advertising and shit like that, it maybe made 500 million. And Warner Brothers took that 500 million profit and pumped it into Batman v Superman. And like I remember Zack Snyder saying, "Yeah, we heard people's complaints with Man of Steel, and we've been listening to them." And then you watch Batman v Superman, and it's just more of the same bad shit. That all the bad shit that was in Man of Steel is back in Batman v Superman. Even more so in the Justice League Zack Snyder cut. So this motherfucker didn't learn a damn thing. But that's my own personal opinion. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. No, I mean, that, not really. It just sounds like, just kind of sounds like he wants to throw some shade on his boss before, as he's being,
As they
dragged
pushed
out.
his ass out the door. They took the broom and shuffled him off the stage. Okay, you got to get out of here. No, the reason his movies, I'm like, man, I know why his movies suck, because Zack Snyder is a overindulged director who they give way too much money to make really bad movies. You know? He's like George Lucas without the talent.
Love her line there.
That's what Zack Snyder is. If you took George Lucas but made it so that he never made one of the greatest trilogy, like two of the greatest trilogies of all time. Because George Lucas was a part of the Indiana Jones trilogy and the original Star Wars trilogy. Okay? So he doesn't even have that going for him, okay? And then said, we're going to give you tons of money to make whatever bullshit you want. No questions asked, no criticism, just whatever you want. That's Zack Snyder. And a lot of slow motion. Lots of slow motion. It probably takes Zack Snyder an hour to take a shit because he does it in slow motion.
You're having your laughs, aren't you?
He's like, I just noticed in all his films, he just loves slow motion. I'm like, dude, not everything needs to be in slow motion. You're like J.J. Abrams with his fucking lens flare. Stop it.
Or somebody with their explosions.
Michael Bay with his explosions. Like, Michael Bay has explosions. J.J. Abrams has lens flares. Zack Snyder, slow-mo. That's his thing. It's gotta be in slow motion. Speaking of Batman, here's something that might make you guys happy. Apparently, there is a Batman Beyond revival in the works at HBO Max. Let me repeat that. There is a Batman Beyond revival in works at HBO Max.
Oh, well, that.
I am hopeful
I hope
and worried at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman Beyond was pretty good. Batman Beyond was the only show where I was like, this feels like the logical progression of Batman the Animated Series. Like Bruce Wayne is an old man and bitter and alone because he drove off all of his friends and family. Alfred's dead. He lives in his shitty mansion. Well, it's still a nice mansion. His old ass mansion with a dog that he rescued from a dog fighting ring. It's like it's like, you know what? This really does feel like, Gotham when they lost Batman went back to being a shithole again. Cuz Gotham is not a great city to live in ever. Like, this is pretty good. I like this. That's my own personal opinion. I know some people will disagree because everyone has opinions. They're like assholes. Everyone has one. But yeah, I thought Batman Beyond. It's a shame that they never gave it a real season finale. They like rolled it into Justice League, the Justice League series. But I really do think Batman Beyond should really. It really, they should at least give it 2 seasons on HBO Max and put some decent money behind it. Don't just do some bullshit. But you guys have any thoughts?
I'm actually hopeful that Batman Beyond revival is going to be good. So, considering what I've seen with the CW and how they done their Warner Brothers shows.
Yeah, but you can't compare CW to HBO Max. Those are those are apples. CW is cheap. The only show that looks like it has a budget is Superman and Lois.
I will give you that. It's just that, if anything, you can understand my worry, right?
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, you can't. It's like that's like comparing Fox MCU to Marvel MCU. It's like those are 2 completely different things. You can't compare. That's not a fair comparison.
In that case, I got more hope for the one that's made by HBO. I mean, the stuff that's made with HBO than the stuff made by the CW.
Yeah, but most of the only show on the CW, DC show on the CW where I was like, this looks like they put some money behind it and it's well written and it doesn't feel like a shitty soap opera with people in weird costumes, is Superman and Lois. Because everything else on there, like The Flash, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow was just, hey, we're gonna do a PG version, TV version of Batman. That's all Arrow was. Oh God, I hated that show. And it was really poorly written. I don't really know how to segue this, but Stadia in 2022.
I'm sorry. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, Stadia
is still alive at a time like this.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
alive is kind of a alive. I mean, hey, anyone here seen
This is alive as a zombie.
No, anyone here seen The Princess Bride?
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Kanoshi, you seen The Princess Bride?
I've never.
You've never seen The Princess Bride?
Nope.
I said it's been a long time since.
Okay, well,
I've seen it, so I'm trying to remember.
There's a scene in The Princess Bride where the main character is tortured horrifically. He's tortured
God, not that moment.
almost completely to death. And they take him to see Miracle Max the Miracle Man. And Mandy Patinkin, who is the Spaniard, Inigo Montoya, he says, my friend here, he's half dead. Half dead? No, your friend's not half dead. It turns out your friend is only mostly dead. Basically, Stadia is mostly dead. It's mostly dead. Not completely dead. Not half dead. Mostly dead. Like 95% dead. And basically, in this article, they talk about how Google just is not really supporting Stadia. So for people who bought shit on Stadia, man, y'all got scammed.
Dang.
I mean, like, if I had a choice, if someone said you have a choice between Stadia or Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Game Pass, I'd take Game Pass every time. All the time, every time. Because Game Pass is a lot more stable and has way more games than Stadia. Stadia is a joke. A bad joke. Speaking of jokes, anyone want to add anything about the joke that is Stadia? The punchline that is Stadia?
Huh. To be honest with you, I'm just wondering when Stadia is gonna finally join the zombies.
I think that this year is going to be the year where they pull the plug on it. Either that or Google's going to roll it, is going to just make it strictly available to third parties as like a platform for their games. Because that bullshit that they pulled when they did the rollout for Stadia, I was like, this is some bullshit. Y'all literally just pulled some shit out of your ass and tried to sell it to people. To basically put it into a more friendly example, Google was like, remember when we were kids and everyone would bring their Game Boy to school? And then there's that one kid who didn't have a Game Boy and they tried to get into the Game Boy circle with a Tiger Electronic thing.
Thankfully, I haven't seen that before. But
That was Google.
Sorry for that guy.
Yeah, that was Google. It's like, hey guys, we got a cloud gaming platform too. It's like, this shit really? Everyone else around here got a Game Boy Color, he got a Game Boy Advance, and you got a Tiger Electronic, and a shitty one at that. Man, go sit your ass down. Kids don't curse, but that's the sentiment. The sentiment is the same. Speaking of...
The kids you didn't know didn't curse. I knew kids that curse like sailors.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Catholic school, so... in Catholic school, they didn't curse us out. We didn't curse each other out. Instead, what we had in Catholic school was using irony and sarcasm to just destroy people. Sometimes that's worse than cursing someone. Like calling someone a fat bastard hurts, but cutting someone down in such a way that's intellectually just it hurts more. It hurts more.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of hurting and jokes, BioWare general manager looks back at 2021 and rebuilding our reputation. So, speaking of reputations, BioWare has embarrassed themselves yet again, as we all knew they would. So, what are your guys' thoughts on it? Yay, nay, agree, disagree?
Did I hear that right? I'm trying to be sure because I probably had an audio moment.
No, BioWare is they had an interview with the BioWare GM, and they basically the current GM is saying they have to rebuild their they have to rebuild their reputation after Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda.
I'm gonna say this. Duh. Yeah, you should have done this beforehand. Seriously, how many games do you need to crash on before you try to fix something in that company of yours?
Well, the big.
It's not CD Projekt Red crash bad.
No, Anthem was worse than CD Projekt Red crash. Anthem was the crash test dummy things where they show a car smash into a brick wall?
Yes.
That was Anthem.
Oh.
Anthem was a bad. Oh man, Anthem was Like when Anthem failed, I thought EA was gonna shut BioWare down. I just knew they were gonna be like, you know what, you know. And if this was like 10 years ago, if this was the EA from 10 years ago, they would have gotten shut down. And everyone knows this. Don't you agree?
Agree.
All right, Kenoshi, you have any thoughts about this? Apparently not. I guess it's time to move on to our final topic.
File before the free. File before our usual closer.
A-hole of the week. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can move on to our final topic, which is should we talk about? Do you guys want to talk about the tech stuff going on?
Well, if anything, I'm actually curious. Did anybody see what CES has let out this year?
I did not. I didn't watch CES this year. I was like, I don't really. I wasn't really. I didn't watch it this year. I just didn't care.
Huh. I was wondering because I remember Kenoshi's the one that brought it up.
I mean,
And
I know a lot of people like it. I'm just saying it really didn't do much for me. I was like,
yeah, I got what you're saying. Though, if anything, I thought since our friend brought it up, he could help us out with that. So something tells me that that's not going to happen.
CES is kind of a disappointment. I mean, there was some stuff that was announced, but a lot of the stuff is somewhat teased. Like, I was watching Paul's Hardware, kind of broke down the disappointment of CES pertaining to Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA. AMD announced some new hardware, teased some new hardware, but a lot of that stuff isn't coming out until like halfway to probably exceedingly halfway throughout the next year. They announced a new variant of AM4, which get ready to get confused because AMD is super terrible at naming conventions, which is their 5800 3D something. Don't exactly know the name, but it's not necessarily graphical acceleration. It has to do with how much cache is on the CPU. So going from 32 to 64 megabytes of cache on the CPU. But I guess the CPU is clocked slightly slower. So let's see what else happened. There was NVIDIA screwing everybody over again.
with their overpriced, underpowered new
like
graphics card.
they spent all this time binning this new 3090 Ti card, and they didn't focus on using that material to just get the cards people want but can't find out at a better pace. So I really kind of screwed people over. Oh yeah, they did announce a 30 feet an RTX 3050, which is a waste of everybody's time if you care about ray tracing. Don't get that card. You're wasting your time and your money if you get a 3050 hoping to get a cheap card for ray tracing. You might as well get a 2060 Super. Let's see.
If you can get one at all. Considering how people are snapping stuff up before it hits the market.
Yeah. AMD announced um AMD announced another their lower end cheap cards, 1080p, high ultra, 1440p, probably medium high mix, um, or medium, possibly medium low. Uh, Depending on the games that you play, and then Intel announced they're shipping uh, their 3D accelerate dedicated graphics processor to OEMs. So get ready for those to show up in various laptops. Uh, it's going to be a while before that's available to people who just build computers. So,
So you really shouldn't look forward until next year.
yeah,
And by then
2023. Wait
it
till
won't.
2023.
Yeah, by then it won't really matter because by then Intel will probably have their stuff ready
The thing,
commercially.
the thing about Intel, and I guess why you probably should be a little worried about their GPUs. They're focusing now on dedicated GPUs because I think the same guy who ran AMD, their Radeon line into the dirt, went over to Intel. So that's probably going to end up being trash. Hope
Uh,
not.
I mean,
Hope it's not going to be trash.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I want more
Considering
competition.
I'll be honest with you. Considering that if they had their old CEO who was just like a money guy in charge of Intel, I would agree with you because he would know what was going on. Their new guy is one of the dudes who helped, who started in, designing some of their more uh, well-known chipsets back in the day. And he basically like he knows the like he knows the specs of what's going on, not just you know the money aspect of it. So like if someone tries to pull some shit, he can look at it and be like, oh, you're trying to pull some shit. And he can
Yeah.
he
I
knows
mean,
what's
that's
going
the
on.
hope. Yeah, that's the hope. That's I mean, it would be great to see more competition in that space. It could light a fire under both AMD and Nvidia if it proves successful. And I don't know. It's just been the Nvidia show for a while. AMD is starting to give Nvidia a run for their money with their 66,000 series cards.
I mean,
So
yeah, but to be fair, we're already kind of seeing that. I mean, the only reason that AMD has been making the moves they've been making is because, or sorry, Intel's been making the move they've been making is because AMD was getting so much market share. They were
yeah,
like, we gotta fix this. We gotta do better. So
yeah, because
competition, you know,
Intel wasn't for a long time. They weren't really doing anything except making just you know
iterative
rebrand.
remakes.
Yeah, yeah, it was all just derivative. It was all just somewhat copy and pasting with a few different elements tacked on here and there.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's nice to see that there's competition, but at the same time, if you're looking to build a new computer, just either either get what's out right now or wait until like near the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. It sounds like.
I agree. I agree. It's not cool, but you know, but either way, to me, the competition is good because it means that they actually have to.
Put in an effort.
Yeah, they have to put in effort. They can't just sit on their ass and just, you know, like all these companies, because there's competition, they can't just sit there and just be like, oh well, you know.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing some more research on CES for Tuesday shows, so I'll have more of a
Closer
clear,
overview, more clear
yeah,
overview.
better, clear overview of everything. So this is just trying to just capture everything that I've been watching and just trying to get stuff from out of the top of my head. So don't quote me on anything I just said.
No, I mean, I saw a little bit of it, but I just was like, I don't really.
I mean, it's just TVs, tablets, and computer parts. Like, you're not. Oh yeah, Sony announced their new headset.
Yeah, just
Whoopee. But
yeah. So they can milk people for more bullshit, because that's what it is.
if I was into the whole headset thing, I think the Oculus Quest seems to be the most interesting because it seems to be the least cumbersome of the headsets. But I really couldn't care about any of it. Not in its current form.
I agree. I mean, like here's the thing. If like I would care if Sony said they were building games from the ground up to be virtual reality. But most of the games that I've seen that are on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 that are VR are basically just first person games that have been Frankensteined to work on a VR on their VR headset. They aren't games from the ground up that were built for virtual reality, and that kind of, to me, that holds it back.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like, like just because you put something in first person and make it work on VR doesn't make it a virtual reality game. It's not enough. It's not enough to put something in that format. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
just because you have a flat piece of bread and some tomato sauce on it and cheese, that doesn't make it a pizza. Those are qualities that a pizza has, but there's more to it than that. You know, like, how was the dough made? What's in the red sauce? What type of cheese are you using? Like, there's other stuff involved with that statement than just, oh, I did this and that's what it is. Um, but that's my own personal opinion. Um, we've got a little bit of time before we wrap things up. Any free topics you guys want to add before we get to a-hole of the week and then wrap things up?
I would use the dice thing, but something tells me that would be a little too geeky for right now.
What?
Remember the top 10 dice things that were most ridiculous?
Yeah, I remember saying that.
I wasn't sure if we could use that real quick for some commentary if you wanted.
I mean,
So
normally I would, but I think that might be a little too niche
out
for
there,
the audience.
yeah, that's what I
Um,
was having a feeling about.
yeah, like people would kind of lose. We'd lose the narrative thread. Uh, Kadoshi, anything you want to add before we get to a-hole of the week and then wrap things up? Nothing.
Ah. Nah.
All right. Um,
Just
So who's on the lineup for a hole of the week?
we've got we've actually got two groups of a-holes of the week. Uh, we've actually have two nominees for a-hole of the week. First nominee is obviously Activision Blizzard for basically not paying their video game testers. Like, hey, you want to know why Call of Duty Vanguard is so broken and buggy and glitchy? Go take a look at you know
Yeah.
Those poor people who, couldn't be
Or
bothered to be paid a fair wage.
hmm. Such stupidity.
It's like, pay those people? No, how dare we? We'll never pay these people a fair and equitable wage. Um, I'm being facetious, by the way. Our other group is, let's see, Yabba Dabba Doo. No, not Yabba Dabba Doo. Is Google. Google for the Stadia. This,
Oh boy.
yeah, Google Stadia has been out for almost, at this point,
2 years.
almost 2 years. And Google has done F all to make this into a service that people want to buy or use. Like literally Google treated this like they had never launched software before.
And remember, these are the same people that gave us Hangouts and
Which was awesome. Hangouts was actually awesome though. Stadia has been crap for years now.
yeah, and while some things from Google are good, actually ran pretty well and expired before their time.
Yeah,
Other
but there's a lot of
things,
stuff they kind of, just kind of cast aside. Like, remember Google Glass? Google Classroom, Google,
yeah,
all this type of stuff. Google Music. Google Music was awesome. Anyway, Google should be better. Google, you should do better. You've done better before. So, who gets the vote? AB, Activision Blizzard, or Google?
huh, tempted um to try to get the flavor of Activision Blizzard out of my mouth. I'd go with Google for allowing Stadia to still be alive at this rate with how they treated it.
Yeah, I think Google should get kicked. I think they should get beat up every once in a while.
Uh, I'm gonna have to give it to AB, but I mean I'm outvoted, so the asshole of the week is Google.
Yeah, and for once we don't have to. For once, Activision Blizzard is not the worst, but only because they somehow managed to make it to already be terrible.
Well, they got asshole of the year of 2021, so I mean,
Yeah,
like when you're asshole of an entire year, that's 365.25 days. I mean, that is a lot of
yeah.
that's a lot of
Though,
time to be an asshole.
though, if anything, they got plenty of time to be EA third 2-time winner.
Well, if that's good, that's good. Anyway, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
I'll do it for him at least. Don't forget that Project Console is going to be coming up every Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Kanoshi, anything you want to pimp out?
Yeah, I'll be talking about CES Tuesday night. Project Console 7:30.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. We have a podcast every Wednesday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can reach me via email, Twitter, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. With that being said, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs bite.
And don't forget to hype responsibly.
Peace.
Peace.